Hi friends. This is the third time I filmed this video. It's Thursday morning at 6:30 a.m. and you know, the first two times I put on makeup and an outfit, but that didn't work out. So I literally just rolled out of bed, put on my robe, and turned on my camera. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Dion. Is my microphone on? If you're new here, my name is Dion, and today we are gonna be doing sort of a style analysis, more of a style conversation about the Tumblr hipster aesthetic. Tumblr aesthetics have been coming back into fashion recently. I've seen like so many different subcultures of Tumblr come into popularity again, but I feel like nobody talks about the Tumblr hipster and what hipster blogs were back in the day. So in this video, I'm going to be going through like what was the Tumblr hipster blog, what were the elements of it, what dream was the blog trying to sell? Because every single like Tumblr blog tries to sell you a dream, whether it's a grungy, gloomy dream, whether it's a tropical vacation dream, but it gives you a vibe, it gives you a dream to have. And then we're gonna go into why isn't this aesthetic remembered. So before we get into it, please make sure you subscribe to my channel. I post videos every Thursday. And with that, let's get into it. So first we're gonna just go through what were the types of Tumblr blogs in like 2010 to 2016. We had Nymphette Lolita blogs, we had pale grunge blogs, we had tropical blogs, we had the swag culture, the fandom blogs, preppy blogs, and hipster blogs. When I first came onto Tumblr, I think it was 2011, hipster blogs were everywhere, and that's what I thought the ideal Tumblr blog was. So these blogs were characterized by neons, long teased straight hair, thin young girls, wedges, party culture, melted glitter font, blog names like mermaid, horgasm, unicorn, hipster sluts. I'm not even kidding. And it sort of took cues from swag culture, a little bit of the tropical surfer blogs, and the sort of Jersey Shore cheerleader vibe, but at the same time, a lot of the blogs were based in Australia. These blogs often posted clips from the movies Pitch Perfect, Mean Girls, The Notebook, Clueless, and the photos were often with like middle fingers, sort of like sticking your butt out and doing a kissy face. They typically had boyfriends or cute boyfriend photos. They were wearing Victoria's Secret pink. They always had like the bombshell bra. The photos were edited with oversaturation, and typically the girls were wearing heavy eyeliner with a lot of mascara. Like I said, lots of the hipster blogs were Australian or British, and so even though it sort of gives off a Jersey vibe, it's locationally that's a little bit inaccurate. And so when you search up Tumblr hipster, you get nerd glasses, mustaches, a sort of steampunk, what I call Portlandia hipster. But that's not what we called hipster blogs back then. These blogs had very young, wild, free energy. They always had celebrities like Cara Delevingne, Rachel McAdams, Miley Cyrus, Lauren Conrad, Mila Kunis, any Victoria's Secret angel at the time, and they would constantly reblog photos of boys like James Franco, Beau Murchoff, Dylan O'Brien, and this model, I feel like he was everywhere during that Tumblr era. Typically having like hot shirtless guys, kissing pictures, just like a boyfriend aesthetic. The girls in the photos on these hipster blogs were typically in high-waisted studded shorts, they had infinity signs, wave tattoos. They seemed like the popular girl in short shorts, long hair, and a crop top in neon. Typically when you clicked onto those blogs, rap music would start playing. I remember the first hipster blog that I followed was called Horgasm, which iconic, and when you clicked on it, Rack City by Tyga immediately started, and I'm like, this is what like bad girl high schoolers do. Like, wow, that's cool. I need to learn about Tyga. The blog post had to do with weed or partying or hanging out with your girlfriends. Most common clothing you would see them in would be Forever 21, Victoria's Secret, and Windsor. It just seemed very much like popular girl core, like the popular girl of the 2010s. And again, they had lots of photos of like hot men, Starbucks, and the typical 2010 style that we recognize, skater skirts, Lita shoes, etc., with an undertone of like sexiness and angst. So again, like lip biting, throwing a middle finger up, that type of thing. The main tenets of these hipster blogs were pictures showing off long hair and covering your face, pictures of Starbucks, pictures of hot guys, melty glitter font, the blog name having something like unicorn, mermaid, whore, slut, ice cream, glitter, something like that. You would wear like short dresses or shorts with wedges, and it had like classic Tumblr font posts like touch my butt and buy me pizza and stuff like that. So who were these ladies of the Tumblr hipster blogs? They tended to be teen to young 20s, always white, always thin, always long hair, typically straightened, and it seems like they have money. And the reason why I say that is because they're also often seen in Victoria's Secret pink, which is a relatively pricey brand for teenagers. They would have Lita shoes, they would have wedges. They seemed to always have a boyfriend and a lot of close girlfriends that they would go out a lot, and you never really knew where they were going out. Was it a party? Was it a bar? Was it a dance? Was it just like the Cheesecake Factory? But it seemed like these girls were always in heels and dresses as if they were going to a homecoming dance or something. And they always tended to have like lots of photos of themselves, the like classic like eye photos of like blue eyes or green eyes, and just overall taking lots of photos with their friends. What dream was this blog selling? Like I said in the beginning of the video, I feel like every Tumblr blog, and when you do something that's like blogging or marketing or anything, you are selling a dream. And I think it's important to break down what sort of dream were you selling? What are you trying to convey? What are you trying to make the viewer aspire to? With the tropical blogs of the Tumblr era, there was like, you wanted to aspire to be a travel blogger, date a surfer, be a model, go on vacation. In Nymphette, you wanted to be hyper feminine, go out with older boys, have a level of like sexiness to you. In the pale grunge blogs, they were selling you like, I'm a gloomy, angsty teenager, smoke cigarettes and be cool, nobody understands me. Now, I would argue that the Tumblr hipster blog was really celebrating true, pure, unadulterated teenagehood. Looking at these blogs, it made me feel in high school like all these teenagers were constantly sneaking out, drinking, partying, making out with boys. There's always an undertone of sexuality. These blogs were throwing middle fingers up saying nobody understands me or fuck off or whatever. It was very angsty, it was a little bit aggressive, it was also a little bit racy, but it seems like they were, the reason why I say pure teenagehood, because the sexiness in the hipster blogs wasn't the same level of sexiness in like Nymphette blogs. I would say Nymphette blogs had an undertone of sexiness that was very mature and adult, whereas the hipster blogs, it was like what teenagers think is sexiness. You know, it was a little bit more, I don't know, not less realistic, but it just seemed more like awesomeness TV, like teen movie sexiness rather than like adult sexiness. It feels weird saying teen sexiness. I just mean like as teens are developing in their sexuality, what they imagine love and sex is. I am not encouraging like gross teen sexiness. Don't sexualize children, please. And at the time, like I remember seeing these blogs and thinking this is how teenagers are, but I never really saw like these hipster blog girls in real life, like with the dresses and the heels, with the shorts and the heels, with their boyfriend and everything. I was always like, where are these girls hiding? Where are they? That they always take pictures with their friends, that they have boyfriends and they have trendy clothes and they go shopping at Forever 21. Like, where are these girls? Because I can't seem to see them. In reality, the hipster blog girl isn't real. And I actually think that's a reason why some of the most popular photos that were reblogged on hipster blogs were girls with long hair but covering their face, because often the girls would be covering their face, doing a sign, doing something, and I think it created this like amorphous, anonymous teenager ideal rather than a personal blog of what you're documenting in your actual life. It was about celebrating the ideal, going out to Starbucks with your friends, shopping at Forever 21 and Victoria's Secret, sneaking out to a party, making out with a boy your mom doesn't approve of, that type of thing. And I feel like that was a dream it was selling, but I actually never saw that dream fully come into fruition. Just not even in my personal life, but just observing other people. So it is a fabricated dream of like what true teenagehood should be. But when you scroll through the blogs, it really does feel like young, wild, free, stupid teenager loveliness, and I love that. Okay, so now that we've talked about what the hipster blog is and everything, I typically will go through like the problems of the style or how to thrift the style. I'm not really gonna do that here just because the style seems very abstract and it's not really like I can pinpoint certain things, and I feel like the style isn't talked about. So this is more of an open conversation of like, why don't we talk about this Tumblr era and why isn't it been resurgence like the other Tumblr eras. Like I said, when you look up the Tumblr hipster blog, you see twee, mustaches, rockabilly, steampunk, and the Portlandia hipster. But at the time, these types of blogs that I've been showing you were called hipster blogs, and the Portlandia hipster wasn't really a thing on Tumblr. When we now look back on Tumblr, we think of awkward adolescence, angstiness, reviving subcultures that were considered alt at the time. This hipster blog style was very much the hot popular girl style, and no one really wants to think about the popular girls when they're looking back on their teenagehood. When fashion trends revive, it's typically bringing up past counterculture because what was mainstream at the time was so oversaturated that it now seems tacky and dated. So what I mean by that is that if you think like 70s style, we're resurging 70s style. We're not gonna do like the cheesy polyester leisure suits or some of the really bad 70s style. We're gonna pick and choose, maybe not the things that were top trendiness, but maybe third or fourth in trendiness. So bell bottoms, but make them look a little bit less like elephant bells or whatever. When we're researching the twee style, we're not doing like the mustaches and the birds and the owls, but we're keeping the Peter Pan collars and the A-line cut. And I think because these hipster blogs really embodied like the classic 2010 teenager, it just seems so oversaturated at the time that now when you see these styles, it just seems so dated. Like no one really wants to wear like a neon pink graphic tee that says like, on Wednesdays we wear pink, which was like such a classic top at the time. Or the studded shorts just seem so quintessentially 2010 that they can't be revived, or at least not yet. With pale grunge, there's so many elements to it that are timeless that you can remodernize and incorporate into style now, and even nymphet and surf style. But the generic basic bitch of the time of 2010 to 2016, again, was so, we saw it all the time on the blogs, on media, just in our everyday life of these popular cheerleader girls that is it something that we want to bring back? Because it just seems so of that time. I think perhaps that because it was so generic and it was like the mainstream aesthetic of teenagehood, we're trying to give other aesthetics a spotlight because no one wants to see the popular girl come back and trend. So often when we research trends, and especially now that we are reviving Tumblr trends, we're trying to vindicate the alt kid that maybe got made fun of or at least wasn't popular at school, and not the hot girl that had everything. So it means like these girls already had their spotlight, they were mainstream in 2010, whereas these other blogs were subcultures. And now that we're bringing back, we're not gonna bring back the same mainstream culture, we're gonna bring back subcultures. I think another reason why we're not resurging the hipster blog, not only because it's a bit tacky and dated, but also its roots were very much in fast fashion. Forever 21 was just becoming a thing. Windsor Store, Toby, Victoria's Secret, all these fast fashion brands, and more as trends are getting recycled, we are seeing a more focus on sustainability. And so recreating these sort of tacky, cheap, Forever 21 styles just doesn't really translate as much. I think one of the main reasons why the hipster blog isn't coming back is because it really put a nail in its own coffin by exclusively posting thin white girls. I mean, here are some screenshots of me scrolling through the archives of different Tumblr hipster blogs. You never saw a person of color and you never saw someone that was plus size. The ideal body type was very, very thin with probably like a 32C, like very much a small frame, but still big boobs. I mean, this photo was like the girl showing off her ass and everyone was like, oh my God, you have such a nice ass. I'm like, what is that? Kim Kardashian is shaking. So because it was so exclusive to the skinny, popular white girl, it's hard to research that in a day and age where we are trying to make fashion more inclusive and diverse. Things like nymphette and pale grunge, even back then, would have some plus sizes and some diversity. Not a lot, it wasn't great. But if you scroll through the archives of nymphette or pale grunge or tropical blogs, you would eventually see a plus size person or a person of color. You could scroll for decades on the hipster blogs and you would never find a person of color or a plus size person. And I think that exclusivity really just made it of the past. It's just like, this was the old fashioned society when we exclusively had skinny white women. Now that trends are coming back, when we revive trends nowadays, we want it to be sustainable, we want it to be diverse, we want it to be size inclusive. Obviously you can thrift these styles and stuff, but I don't know, I think maybe the style will come back into fashion in maybe like 5 years or something, when we have a little bit more distance from the aesthetic. I think right now it still seems so oversaturated, and even sometimes you'll like see people sort of rocking the rocking is a little strong, wearing the style, and you're like, oh, that seems dated. So I don't know, maybe I'm being hypercritical on this style just because it is very recent, but I just don't know if we can bring it back in a way that's like stylish and inclusive. Nevertheless, these hipster blogs, when you scroll through them, they really just give you teenage, young, wild, and free vibes. And I do like suggest you just scroll through a hipster blog just because it does make you sort of laugh at your teenagehood. At least for me, I always enjoy like every now and then scrolling through them, because even though it's cheesy and tacky and angsty and you're like, oh my God, what are you mad for? You're 16, you have a Jeep, you have a boyfriend, you have a ton of friends, you're skinny, you're pretty, you have a long hair, like, why are you mad? But it's just, I don't know, there's something about the like blog of the popular teenager of the 2010s that is a little comforting, I think. What would you call these blogs like nowadays? If this style resurged, what would we call it? And how do you think that we can make it more inclusive, more diverse, and a little bit less tacky? Because it was tacky. This was the height of the Jersey Shore time as well, so yeah, it was bad. I mean, I say it's bad, but then I also had a shirt that said "Talk Nerdy to Me" with SpongeBob on it, so I don't really know why I'm talking about it, because that was my favorite shirt. And leave a comment down below what aesthetic you want me to cover next. Typically with my style analysis videos, it's much more essay-like and I kind of go through different points and paragraphs. This was much more of a conversation, but I will link some of my other style analysis videos here so you can see what I like to talk about. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and TikTok because I post content there every single day, and subscribe to my channel. I actually did a poll on my community tab on my channel of what you guys wanted to see this week, and it was between the Tumblr hipster blog analysis and recreating my Pinterest. So definitely keep an eye out on my Instagram and on my community tab on my YouTube channel, because I love interacting with you guys there and asking your opinions on things. So yep, do that. And with that, have a happy day. Bye. I almost forgot to say, I said this in the other 2 videos that I filmed that were deleted. But last week, the week of Valentine's Day, I said all 600 of you guys are my Valentines. And this week I have over 1,000, like 1,100 subscribers. I can't tell you without getting emotional how honored I am to have over 1,000 subscribers. That was my goal in 2021, and at the end of 2021 I only had about 200 or 300. And from the Coquette video, you guys have just blown me up, and it's so amazing to interact with you guys and to make content that you love. So I didn't want to post this video or a video this week without acknowledging how thankful I am to have 1,000 subscribers now. It's such a big deal to me. Thank you guys so much.